I want to welcome everyone here. Uh, there'll be more people coming on, which is pretty awesome. Introduce myself. My name is Mark Ehrlichs, and I am a healer by the grace of God. Also, I'd like to remind you that if you should miss a part of this or you want to go over a part of this again, feel free. There's going to be a replay on it. I'll put it up as soon as Facebook allows me to. You'll also, if you want to, be able to put on the bar, if you can type in on the comment bar, just, hashtag you rock or hashtag whatever you want. And then what that does, it helps Google to help me get up there a little bit. And if you should see the replay, please feel free to put in hashtag replay. This way I know they saw the replay. And that's pretty awesome that you do that. I appreciate that a whole lot. Good, we got some, hey Kira, hi. And Carmen, good to see you. Good to see y'all. Thanks for being here. I'm really honored that you are. And Joseph too, thank you for being here, Joseph. I appreciate it. If you don't mind, I would love to hear what cities you're from. And I love the internet, I love the technology, but I don't understand any of it. So please feel free. We're going to have a good time tonight. And please do put in your cities. I'm really interested. I know that Kira's in Texas, and I don't know where Carmen is. And Joseph, I don't know where you are. And there's others as well that are joining in. Good, we're getting a nice little group here. And well, we're going to boogie. Let's start. First of all, I wanted to mention, let's see here in my notes. If people are interested, please feel free to call me for an appointment. And hey, good, Joseph. Great. Thanks for being here from Tucson. I love it. And let's see. I do see people by appointment on the telephone or on Zoom or FaceTime, whatever's convenient for you. Oh my God, Toronto. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it, Miss Canada. So, all right. And let's see here. Then Lynn is going to be coming along pretty shortly. And she's my assistant, and she's from Canada as well. She's from, I believe, Ottawa, or something like that. I don't even remember anymore. And she's always helping me tremendous amount. And I'm trying to, Joseph, I'm trying to hear. A little nervous, as always, to start out. And so Lynn will be putting up the information about a mini workshop on manifestation that I'm going to be giving in a few days. And so please take advantage of that. I had one on light and utilization of healing with it. That was the other day. It went a little too long, though, than a mini workshop. And then prior to that, I had one on prayer. And they were just awesome. Tremendous amount of responses from that people actually understood me. I love it. Then we had, hey, Jill, good to see you. Thanks for being here, Jill. Please, Jill, if you get a chance, type in where you're living, what state. I really appreciate it. And so, or city, whatever you want. And then after the mini workshop, I don't have the dates. Lynn will have the dates put up as soon as she gets on. I'm surprised she's not here yet. Also, there's a manifestation workshop. The mini workshop is the manifestation workshop. It's going to be incredible. It's going to talk about how we can manifest and the reality of it. And it's the same stuff that I utilize in my life and I've been utilizing for a long, long time, and many other people as well. And you'll learn the secrets of it, how easy it is, but it'll be a taste for something to develop within yourselves. Then we have a Series 2 workshop for anyone who's taken any of my courses ever before. that's going to be offered and announced as well. It's being announced now on my Facebook pages and on the website at markehrlich.com. So please do take advantage of that. Then let's see. I don't know of anything else to talk about with that stuff. So what I'd like to do is go right into some questions people are asking, and let me see if I can change something here to get a little better view. And there we go. I'll be able to see any kind of comments or whatever. So that's good. All right. The first question, let me get this up here a little bit. All right. I'm utilizing my phone, and I'm also, which I'm doing the whole thing on right now, because my computer doesn't have the configuration, my laptop doesn't have the configuration, I just found out, to go onto Facebook Live. You can go onto Facebook, but not live. So, I'm going to have one of my friends help me with that and the right configuration and stuff. Let's see here. The first question I have, well, before I do that, I just want to express that I'll be answering questions that people have asked me, and I'll give the best possible answer I can that comes out of me. And then I'll be intermittently, hey Christina, good to see you, my dear friend. And with the questions, of course, I'll give the best that I can, the most that I can in the time that allowed, etc., as far as I can relate. And then intermittently, I'll be working with healing with anyone that requests, and I may call on you even if if you don't request it. And then also at the very end, besides my diatribes that I get into, I'll be working with a real short meditation. And so I hope you'll enjoy that. It's very short and it's very effective. And today's meditation is really awesome. Okay, so we have several people, which is great. I see a lot more signed, and this is odd because I see a lot more signed on, but there's only the number 4 that's showing above. So I don't know how they sync, or what's syncing with what, whatever. This is strange. So, in any case, my friend Sue, she asked me, the light class was really good, and that was the Light and Healing mini series that I'm offering every other week now, or every so often. And please go over the definition of life force again. You were talking about morphic fields, which are fields of information that I teach people. And let's see, talk about the morphic fields. Yeah, really, gotta love Facebook. And there's also a delay on this. I think it's about a 7-second delay or 5-second delay or something like that, so it's odd. And so again, Sue asked, the light class was great. Please go over the definition of life force again. You were talking about morphic fields and other people, and I missed the connection. Well, hey Michelle, great to see you. Thanks for being here. Yes, Michelle in Tempe, and you rock too. Well, hi Sue. When you do the replay later, I know you can't join us now. My apologies for not remembering what I had mentioned during the class. I haven't even gone over the replay yet on that light class. I haven't had an opportunity to. And so, but I do want to say that through the morphic fields, they're fields of information. Morphic fields are coined by quantum science, and they designate fields of information, and they emanate forth from us. They really emanate from any source of definite pattern, form, and shape. But we have a consciousness, and from any pattern, from any definite pattern, form, and shape, say a rock has a consciousness too. It knows itself and its form and what it should do, and which is nothing, just lay there, whatever, and be in the ground, but it still has a consciousness to it. A chair has a consciousness because humanity made it. Humanity created it. And you can even see a chair, and you can potentially touch it or not and get a perception. And in the perception, you'll get an understanding of who created this. And it's proven by different people that you can do this kind of thing. It's even the same as psychometry and holding something, an object. It carries information that emanates forth from it, and we can get pictures, no different than picking up someone's ring and potentially knowing where it came from and what person had it, say even prior to that person having it, and what they were like. And it's been shown many times, and I've done it many, many times with people. I don't always do that. I don't always get information, but it can be done. And according to the fields that are being emanated from it. So we have that too, but we have it even greater because we're created in the image and able to, being able to share. And we share ourselves. We're created in the image of that divinity that carries that self within, that we're here to exemplify. So it has information, and we can be constructive with it or destructive with it, but it's still emanating forth from us. Pertaining to healing, I utilize that information, and I hope all this makes sense to some degree, but I utilize this information when I so-called scan someone, whether it be touching or non-touch. And I can perceive where an area has been destructive in the body, and which is emanating forth from the morphic fields. And we have the ability to do this because when we're doing this, when we're doing this with another individual, the person is emanating there unbeknownst to them. That say if it's an arm, we can scan like this, and in a real simple way, and we can hone in on a specific area and touch it, and they'll say, ow, and they didn't know what we were doing, but their emanation is sharing with us of the area. So we can determine that that is a causal area that might be causing other discomforts in the body, or whatever, or just in that specific area. So we have the ability to utilize the information, and if we're really quiet inside of ourselves and want to know what it is, we can start to get pictures, but the pictures are coming from the morphic fields, the emanations that are emanating forth from us. And we can utilize our hands or even our bodies without even scanning. We can scan from within ourselves. And just standing in front of a person, we can have a perception. But that takes practice, and I teach this stuff as well. And so it depends upon our focus and our ability to focus. And the greater we can focus and learn how to focus, that's when those emanations mean more. We get to see the pictures of them. In the emanations, it's kind of funny. I relate to it as, hey, Stephen, good to see you here. Thanks for being here. And I utilize this in realizing that everyone has a story to them, and we have the ability to pick up that story if we can focus. And that's where we want to be. We want, in focusing, it's not staring at something, it's observing it. It's being objective without putting a story to it. We're perceiving it. It's coming forth from us. It's being shared from us, from within us, from that divinity within. So let me get rid of this thing there. All right. And so as we practice, it becomes more obvious. It becomes more fluent within us. And one way to get focus is to do various focus exercises, which I won't teach here, but we all, I'm sure, have different things that we can do. So, going right on here, we can even perceive of discomforts in their life force. That's what we're actually learning to do in the various classes and the mini classes and stuff that I'm giving. The mini classes are totally free for everyone. And please do take advantage of those, and you'll learn about this stuff even more so. I don't want to give a whole class on that now. And so just as sometimes I'll look at someone and I don't even know that person, say online, or during a healing circle or an appointment or whatever. But I'll be able to say, in my mind, even though they're online, I'll be standing in front of them in my mind through my imagination, do image and action. And I'll be able to, say, remind them of where a causal area of discomfort is in their body, because I've set myself up for that. I've learned how to set that pattern in me. And we all can do it, and it's learning how to do it. And it's taking baby steps. But, you know, the baby steps are huge steps. And I'm always taking baby steps for stuff, and I'm learning continually. But it's practicing it. That's what does it. That's what helps our ability to focus. As we practice, we get more into it. And we're able to see more and more and more and more and more and more is being open to us. So I hope that almost answers your question, Sue. And my dear friend Patty. Oh, Yvonne is here. Hey, how you doing, Yvonne? Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. A lot of Phoenix people. This is great. And Texas and Phoenix and Tucson and a couple Canada. That's awesome. So, let's see. All right. First, what I'd like to do, let me scroll down a little bit here. I want to see, Carmen, is there anything that you would like for me to work with? Anything, any one thing, anything specific that I can work with? Please share. There's going to be a delay on this, so I'm going to be, you know, doing other things until you answer. Any one thing, Carmen. And I'm curious, Carmen, also, before you answer, or as you are answering, it'll be a delay on it. But if there's something with, and I don't know anything about Carmen. Hey, Patty, my dear friend Patty. And I don't know anything about Carmen whatsoever, but I'm curious if there's something with your legs, in your upper hip down, or excuse me, your back down your legs, that there's something that's bugging you or has been bugging you. And please feel free. And of course, I don't know you, and you don't know me, so we haven't talked or anything else that I know of, or that I remember, which is quite often. And so please do share it, Carmen. And let's see if she's answered here. No, not yet. Not yet. Patty, is there anything that you would like to share as far as anything with your neck that we worked with? Please, on yesterday's healing circle. Please, Patty, anything at all. And please do let me know. Type it in so that I'll be able to see it. And I do realize that there is a delay here, so don't even worry about that. And so going right along to until people answer, um, uh, my dear friend Patty, she wrote, Mark, could you please talk about the difference between touch and non-touch healing? Thank you. Well, touch healing is super simple, but it's what people can uh, identify with. And so I like working with touch because there's an identification. But here we have, the COVID D thing, and we have, a lot of other dynamics, people wanting to stay in and stuff, and rightfully so. And so I've always also worked with non touch through prayer. And I find that most effective. And the touch is the immediate response that people identify with, as I expressed. And yet, touch and non touch are different. And so I feel they both affect a person just the same, uh, almost just the same. And non touch can also affect a person even deeper at times. Which is why I love the Zoom appointments or the telephone appointments or whatever, or FaceTime appointments. And so um, I can actually, in my mind, using my imagination, say, reach through the phone lines and touch a person. And I know that something is happening, that a person's life can potentially change. So um, I don't really know much of a difference, except that they are used for identification. Some people don't want to be touched, and I'll get a sense of that, or someone will tell me, or before the appointment, they don't want to be touched, which is fine. And so we have the ability to work with these things. I know that when I utilize the activity of prayer from within myself in working with someone, that uh, people's lives change. And even when I don't tell the person I'm working with them, say anonymously or something like that, without saying anything, their life will still change through what I call prayer, because I trust that. I trust that divinity within me that's doing something. And we all have the ability to affect people in a creative way. We can do things creatively or destructively. Everything's up to us, but it's easier to be creative versus the destructive. And if we're destructive, then we're just going to have to eventually work that out in our lives. If we're creative, we're being not only creative for that other person, but we're being creative and growing within ourselves as well. So prayer is great. Prayer is awesome. And it affects people deeply in a very personal way as well, versus, well, even when touching, it still affects people. So I really can't compare one or the other. And so non-touch is awesome, and so is touch. And depending upon our lifestyle, how we were brought up, and what we want to identify with. And so it makes no difference. And it's an opportunity not only allowing the divinity to function through us, regardless of what we're functioning with, but at the same time focusing on what images and perceptions are being shown to us. And that's why I love doing the non-touch or even the phone sessions or Zoom sessions, is because I'm able to not be in front of the person with distractions, but I'm able to, say, put my hand through the ethers and touch them, and I'll get images as well, because I'm more focused. And that helps. That helps a lot. And it's an opportunity of allowing even more of that divinity to come forth from us at the same time. And you can also do it through touch if you're really concentrated. And so it is available to you. And hey, Heather, good to see you, my dear friend. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. All these Phoenix people, this is great. Joseph wrote, when you were here in Tucson, you helped my heart, brother. Thank you for the focused energy and love. Oh, my honor, my pleasure. And I never really know. I just know of areas to go to, or people will tell me what's a priority for them. And so I'll go to that specific area, and then I just let that godliness, that divinity, the Christos, the Son, come forth and utilize its hands in that person. And it will help a person in doing whatever the person needs. It may not show immediately. It may be incremental according to what the person will accept in their life. But there'll be a change, I know that, always. Even if the person is not aware of it, something will always change. And I've seen it too many thousands upon thousands of times happen like that. So, thanks for sharing that. I appreciate that. Hey, Lynn, good to see you, my dear friend. Lynn, can you do me a favor, please, and put up the information for the mini workshop and for my contact for appointments itself, and also for the Series 2 for anyone who's ever taken any of my classes. Series 2 is available coming up, and when they're going to be coming up, I appreciate that, Lynn. Thank you so much. And Lynn will be shooting that up soon. So, all right. Then, let me see here. Joseph, is there anything I can, one thing that I can work with? Then I want to get back to Patty. But any one thing that I can work with, Joseph, please. Please share with me. And then, or anyone, please. Anyone have any one thing. And in the meantime, with Patty, you had mentioned that your neck is better. And when I worked with it last night, I also said it's stiff. And so, and I saw that, and that's the way it is today. And that tells me that a change has happened in your neck from what it was until, okay, Joseph, I will. And I got distracted. My apologies. And so, let's just go on. You know, I'm doing this thing here. So let me see here. Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate that. Patty, so what I want to do is work with some of that stiffness in your neck. And I also mentioned that, I just remembered, as I was talking earlier, that the muscles in here were, I think, going to be mostly stiff, and they're muscles that extend from the spine in that area there. So I want to work with that a little bit, and please be candid with me. Let me know what happens, Patty. If we can give it any relief or give it a total reprieve or what. There was a little change right there, a little sense. It is going through the healing crisis, and I do know that. So let's see if this doesn't help a little bit more, a little bit quicker, and we'll just see. Let's see what the old man or old woman upstairs wants to do about it, and how it takes over and changes things in you. Because I really long to see a relief in you. And so we'll see what happens there. And good. I'm glad. I'm so glad, Patty. Thank you so much for sharing that. All right. With my My friend Joseph here, let me see. He wrote degenerative disc in in T4 and 5. All right. That's above, the T is above or below the neck, but it's above the middle of the back. Is that correct? And I actually feel it. I don't know if you can see this, but I feel it right here. No, that's right, I think down here, below the shoulder blade, around the shoulder blades. And I think, I don't even know where T4 and 5 is, but I can feel it in your spine in a few different places. And so let's see what happens here. And I'm going to just work with that, Joseph. You tell me if you notice any change in your spinal column, please. Then I'm going to work from your, not to implant impressions, but or to hypnotize or anything like that, or make you think something. I'm going to start with your neck and go down to the middle of your shoulder blades, or a little bit around that area there. And right there, I'm feeling flow happen. And there, please, can you share with me, Joseph, if you noticed anything happen, if you move around a little bit, if you notice feeling better or worse or the same? Good, good. All right. And now with my friend Carmen here, my new friend, I experienced pain starting from where an affected tooth was extracted 13 years ago. The pain traveled through my body, lymph, both sides of my body and along the right hip, leg and foot. Okay, all righty. So what I'm going to do, um, I, in my mind, my pleasure, Joseph. And great, I'm happy it popped. And that might also help relief in that, in finding its place or bringing it together in some way, the flow of the body. And so that might be incremental as well in giving you the relief. I don't know. So we'll find out. Now, with Carmen, there are two different things that we're talking about. I realize the infected tooth, but at the same time, that was extracted. Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate that. And but working with your body on the right hip and leg and foot. Okay, so I'm going to work with that. And oh, thanks, Lynn, for putting that up. I'm really grateful for that. And so I'm going to work with your right hip down. And I believe they're two separate issues, the tooth and that, even though they coordinated at the same time or a little bit after. So I'm going to work with that. And tell me if you notice anything happening on your right hip, Carmen. And be candid, please. Let me see. Now, if I go like this, you may sense something happening because my hands, uh, and many people can testify to this, that my hands are actually doing something. And so what I'm asking you to do is be uh, uh, inquisitive inside yourself and wonder inside yourself if you sense something happening. Am I correct also that around um, uh, in the back of your right leg, on in the center of the buttocks, if you were to push in, it's real tender there. Is that correct or not? Can you answer me that? Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate that. Is it also tender there, Carmen? And please do answer me if you get an opportunity to, if you want to. Right in the center, in the back, in the center of your buttocks, below the hip, it's tender in there as well, and that's it. Okay. All right. I appreciate your answering no, but let me work with that. Did you sense something happening as I was working with you, hon? Just curious. And it's okay if you didn't, or you didn't notice anything, it's fine. I'm most curious. And I'll wait for Carmen a little bit. Good, Patty. I'm happy you did. All right, good. And that's on the right side as well, Carmen? If you have an opportunity to answer that. That will also, in that area being more relaxed, uh, I perceived the flow, just as Patty described, a flow. Uh, good, good. And that flow is allowing more life force to flow through more freely. So that will lead into, if it hasn't already, into a little less discomfort or totally dissipate the discomfort, whatever route it takes. I don't know yet. And so uh, please do just enjoy it and try to remember that flow, and that'll continue the pattern of that in there. Uh, Next week, if you want, um, I can work with, let's see, we have time. Um, I can work with that tooth area. No, that was 13 years ago, though. So, all right. Let's go. Let's moving right along here. Is my friend Charlene? She wanted to ask a question. Do music and/or color ever have a place in healing? And oh my God, yeah, it's never been my forte. I do know that listening to lovely music that creates um, a positive, a creative vibration to it, it affects us. Just as if we listen to something really chaotic, it affects us equally, but in a different way. So I enjoy lovely music or positive music. I'll use positive in that term. Constructive music. Uh, I love it. So I know that it affects us internally and creates an environment within us and around us that's very conducive of perceiving things. And so music is great, and color. I used to study it. Uh, one of the terms of the old ways was uh, similar to chromotherapy, using various colors for healing. And many, many years ago, one of my teachers taught that, and I never really got into it. So one day I decided I want to start doing this. So I got a stage light and I got different color um, filters, plastic filters, and I would put the color filters into the stage light, and I would work with people that came for appointments, and people that had injured hands. Hypothetically, they would put their hand into the box, and uh, they would immediately notice a difference, which is really cool, depending upon the type of color. And one of my teachers taught chromotherapy, and or he had a book on it that he had written. And so, very valid for those things. But I don't utilize those. I just go into my world of working with the energies and the memories and the light of the Christos, the sun. That's my forte, uh, and what I delve into as ardently as I can. And so, good question though. So I hope that answers your question. And my friend Julian, he's in Germany, which is great. I love it, and he's taking a class right now for me. And he said, "Hi, Mark. Got two questions. How can we wake up without an alarm clock?" I love it. I think I read somewhere in your book, or maybe somewhere else, that there is a certain technique to do that. Yes, I call it the alarm clock exercise, the Book of Da for me. And many, 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 many years ago, when I first went into my order, um, I had a difficult time in getting up in the mornings, real early in the morning, around 6 in the morning. And I'm thinking, why should any human being be up at this time? But everyone had to, and I was part of everyone. So my teacher came up to me one day and he said, after a few days of being in the order, I was still a novice, and he said, "Brother Mark, I got this great exercise for you." And I said, "Okay, sure." He says, "Okay, when you're going to bed at night, what I want you to do is imagine setting an alarm clock for the time that you want to get up. And he said, picture yourself as you're going to bed, as you're going to sleep, looking at that alarm clock, setting it, and then picture yourself waking up the next morning and just feeling great, and uh, and start your day." He says, "Can you do that?" I said, "Yeah, sure." And so I was obedient, and I listened to him and the exercise and everything else. I tried it out that night, and everyone had to get up. I think it was around 5 or so, or 5:30 or something like that. And so I pictured the alarm clock at around whatever time that was, hypothetically 5:30, and and I woke up at exactly 5:30. I couldn't believe it. And so I started using that as a tool. And I didn't have a real alarm clock. I would just wake up exactly 5:30. Then, after a while, I started playing with that exercise. And I figured, I wonder if I can wake up at 5:28 instead of 5:30. And so I would go to sleep picturing waking up at 5:28 and waking up really excited and happy for the day and everything else. And I woke up at 5:28. And sometimes I've used it millions of times after that. And so sometimes I'll be setting the alarm clock inside myself, really enthusiastically picturing myself waking up and filled with life and light and love and everything. And I would actually get up. And sometimes I would get up a minute before the picture that I had in my head of setting an alarm clock for 5:27 or 5:28 or whatever. And so I would always then started getting up prior to that. Then I figured one day, okay, if I can do this with the alarm clock, why can't I do it with other things? So I started doing it with things that I knew I had to do the next day, and picturing myself accomplishing these things. And my whole life changed from that little dumb exercise that was so great. And so, yes, I really believe that we can utilize this, and that's a tool that people have available to them. But the only thing is, and the only way that it works is if you're picturing it at night with all your heart, picturing doing that, setting it, and then enthusiastically picturing, imagining to image in action, you're getting up just so excited and you can't wait. And because that's what I did in order to initiate that ability to do that. So we all have that ability. And so it's available to you. It's totally available. And let's see here. What else was there? Oh boy. Lynn put up all the information on the sidebar. Thanks, Lynn. I really appreciate that. And we should almost be finished here. But one other thing I want to do here, I want to answer another question, if you don't mind, is I have a friend with high blood pressure, he wrote. He is conscious of his diet and exercise. What can additionally he do to help himself? Thank you. And to me, it sounds like he's really taking care of himself. He cares about himself. And one major way to regulate the high blood pressure is that he's following through with his diet and his exercise. But the other thing that would really help if his blood pressure is a little bit higher still is to learn to meditate. Very important. Very, very important is the meditation. Carmen, and I keep praying that, and I will pray, I should say, that it will even be more relaxed and give you more relief that you might be expecting. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Carmen. All right, my dear friends, it's already, God, how long have we been going? Hey, Ari, good to see you, my dear friend. Good to see you. And let's see, how long have we been going? My clock is not working correctly. Are there any other questions or comments? Anything I can try to answer before we go on to the meditation? Anything anyone would like to hear about that I can try to talk about in a diatribe? Please feel free to share. And thanks, Carmen. I appreciate it. You rock too, my dear friend. And whoever sees the replay, be sure, please, put in the hashtag replay. I appreciate that. So, let's see. Patty, you said that you were feeling better, which I'm really grateful for. And I'm very glad. And I just want you to feel even better than that. And you'll find that part of that stiffness is part of the healing process that's happening. I call it a healing crisis. It's like when, as I always describe as an analogy, like someone gives us a knuckle sandwich and we go, ow, that's a shock trauma. And then it turns black and blue, and it turns later on bluish green, and then into the oranges, then yellows, and then it starts to go away. And that was the healing crisis, and it dissipates. Well, we have shock traumas in our life all the time since childhood, and they're huge. They can even be spiritual experiences, can be a shock trauma for us. And they're shock traumas because we don't immediately know how to process them. And until we can assimilate it, we live with it, which is the reason for many, many discomforts or diseases in the body, not all, but many of them in the body that we experience later in life. So here we are still going through things and replications of things in patterns. That's good to hear, Pat. I love that. Thank you. And we're always replicating the distresses of our life later in life, and they keep exponentiating into other things until later in life, 5 years, 20 years, 50 years later, we're developing discomforts in the body where we might have had accidents or we might have had injuries in some way, or it might lead into a disease process or something. And that being the case, if we can take a look at it and wonder, when did you have something like that similar in the past, you'll notice that you're facing yourself and you're seeing the causes of things, if that should be applicable. We all have stuff. And what I'm saying is that many of the things that we have, not everything, but many of the things we have is a replication of something that we've previously experienced in life that made us into who we are, what we are, why we are today. So, all right. Please, any other questions or comments or anything else I can try to help you with or try to answer even. And Lynn's put up all the information on the sidebar, so please, at your convenience, take a look at it and enjoy the events coming up. And they're also posted on the website as well, and information about the appointments and the mini series that's going on intermittently, and also the healing circle that's going to be every other week as well, and the gathering that's every Wednesday. So, all right, what I'd like you all to do, if you don't mind, is there anyone, well, first of all, is there anyone else that I can briefly work with? Please feel free to share. And I'll wait for a moment here and see what people say, and I'll go over any of the comments here. Yeah, thanks for being here, Joseph. I appreciate that. And Carmen, love that you're here. Thank you so much. And Ari, thank you. Thank you. And my dear friend Patty, of course. Patty's doing the series 1, thank God. And I love that she's doing it because there's a lot of information, and Patty's gone through a lot of classes. All the classes are unique. All the classes are unique. Even if it's a repeat, it's still unique. It's still different every single time. So, alrighty, and Lynn, my back, yay, okay, I can work with it. Not yay that it hurts, but yay that I can work with it. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Patty. So Lynn, let me work with your back, please. You just sit back and relax, Lynn. Let's let the light take over. And I'm going to imagine my hands on your back. And actually it's from a little bit lower than the middle of the back all the way down to the hip bone. Now on your spine, hi Marianne Fry, thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, I'm honored. Now Lynn, on your spine, my perception is that it's on the lower spine about 2 inches or about 3 or 4 inches above the hip bone, and all the way down to the hip area on your spine, on the spinal column. So I'm going to work with that. Lynn, I just, in my perception, and be candid with me, it can be yes or no, or some, or a lot, or whatever. Do you notice a difference in your spinal column on your back? Please share with me. Yes, it was down your back. Yes. Do you notice a difference now in what a feeling might be compared to before I worked with it just now? Please feel free to share. And no matter what the answer is, do you notice a difference? And please feel free. I know there's a delay on this Facebook thing compared to what I'm talking in my phone. All right. Marianne, in the meantime, please, it's so good to see you here. Good. There is a flow happening, Lynn, and let's see if that helps to quicken that process. And Marianne, is there anything that is bugging you? My pleasure, Lynn, my pleasure. And I'll see you tomorrow at class besides now. And so, all right, Marianne, is there anything in your body that's bugging you, Marianne? Please. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for being here, Marianne. You rock too. I want everything to exponentiate as far as feeling better for everyone. Anything, Marianne, that's bugging you in your body that I can work with. Any one thing. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, people. What I'd like to do is do a little short, very short meditation with y'all. And it's a meditation contemplation. And I'd like you just, if you can, please follow along with me. It's real simple. And just sit back and just close your eyes and relax. And just take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just relax. Go with it. Just go with it. See what happens from this. And I just want to, with your eyes closed, we're going to be observing. We're not thinking. We're not analyzing. No thinking. No judging. Just observing. And I want you to wonder what it is that happens with you as you're emanating a divinity from within you. There's like a life within you, and it's going to be emanating. Observe it objectively without going to it and thinking of it or doing anything, just watching it. What's happening to you? Try to understand what it's doing, not what you think it's doing. It's going to share with you what it's doing. With your eyes closed, just wonder about that emanation from within you, that light within you that's coming out, and wonder what it's doing to you. That's the part. Wonder what it's doing to you. It's the divinity within that's emanating out. And it's emanating out of your whole body. Wonder what it's doing. As it emanates out from your body. In your mind's eye, inside, watch it emanating out, affecting your body. Imagine what it's doing to your body. Don't bring it out into the world or anything else. That's another meditation or exercise. Watch what it's doing to you. It's a clean, clear, effervescent, bubbly light emanating out. All right, come on back. I really want to thank everyone for being here, and I'm totally honored. And if you do want to go along with the replay, type in the subject or the comment bar #replay if you do that, and then I'll know that you went to the replay. Thank you all so much for being here. And next week, have a ton of questions for me, please. And you can start writing them out now, and I'll start contemplating them and doing whatever. And we'll also have more workings with healing with people, and we'll do talking and everything else. So, blessings to everyone here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Looking forward, my friends. Bye-bye.